Hi, welcome to French General. My name is Kari, and today we're going to learn how to make these fun button bracelets. Very simple to make. They can be made with materials you probably have in your own house, or you can make them with one of our own vintage button kits. The secret behind these bracelets is that they're all made on a material called stretch magic, or what's known as stretchy string. And so you're able to make them and they will fit almost any wrist. And the more you make, the better they look. And it ends up looking like one big cuff. Let's go over some of the materials that you will need to make about 4 different bracelets. You'll need about 1.5 yards of stretch magic. You will need 2 strands of about a 4mm crystal in almost any color. I use like a black diamond color that has a little bit of an AB sparkle to it. And then you'll need between 11 and 14 buttons per bracelet. So as you can see, this is just kind of a wide selection of different sizes. Some of the buttons have shanks on them. Some are just a 2-hole button. Almost anything will work. If you've got some 4-hole buttons, they work great. Any sort of mother of pearl. You may even want to try something really unique and different. These are Rosemontes, very tiny little actual sew-on bits, but they go great in the bracelets. The button bracelet kit includes just a smattering of vintage mother of pearl buttons. You will also need some glue. You can either use the 527 or I like this GS Hypo Cement because it's got a very fine needle tip on it. A pair of scissors and some sort of ruler or measuring tape so that when we need to measure out the length of each of the stretch magic pieces, we've got a guide. So to start, most bracelets are about 7.5 inches long. I find that these bracelets work best at about 6 to 7 inches long, but we're going to cut it at almost 10 inches long, just to give us plenty of room to work with. And we will triple knot the end of our stretch magic. So each one, pull it nice and tight, and then go ahead and knot 2 more times right in the same place. And this is just going to give us a really good start. And we may not end up using this knot at the end, but at least it'll be a catching place for our beads. So we've left a little bit of a tail at the end here so that we'll have room to tie off the bracelet. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our crystals, and the crystal beads will filter in between each of the buttons. So you will thread on 1 crystal bead to start, and then go ahead and thread on any one of your buttons. And what I like to do is kind of mix them up, do a larger one and then maybe a smaller one and then maybe a much bigger one. After the first button is thread on, you will go ahead and thread on 3 of your crystal beads. So the reason we want to thread on 3 crystal beads is so that we give plenty of room for each of the buttons and they're not crowded on top of each other. So the first one was a medium-sized button, so I'm going to go ahead and do a smaller button next. And just thread it onto the stretch magic, and then go ahead and thread on 3 of your small crystal beads. And again, to really add uniqueness and color to this bracelet, you could do these in any color. Your beads could be red or blue or black. Anything would dress it up nicely. And again, another button and 3 more crystal beads. So you'll continue doing this till you reach about 6 inches. And every once in a while you may want to measure it out, and you can see that we've still got quite a ways to go. We're only at 3 buttons, and we know we're going to need between 11 and 13 or 14. So now I've thread on a larger button, and again 3 more crystal beads. Okay, so I've now got 3, 6, 9, 11 buttons on. So I'm going to measure and see where I'm at. And I'm just at about 6 inches. So this would probably be a really good length for most people. But what you can do is you can hold it up and kind of pinch your 2 ends together. And you can almost kind of fake it and see if it fits over your wrist. I think I'll add just a couple more beads to the end here, just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. So now I've got all my beads. These crystals are tough. All my beads strung on, all my buttons on. And I'm going to go ahead and take my 2 ends. I've left a little tail on the left side, and I will do the same thing. I will triple knot it. Now, if you don't knot over your original knot, that's okay. The most important part is just to get 3 good knots. So that's 1, give it a good tug each time, 2, and there we go. Okay, 3. There you go. So you've got your knot right here in between your beads. And at this point, what you can do is you take either one of your glues. Again, this one's nice because it's got that needle nose to it. And you just want to put a drop of glue on the knot. Just enough so that when those beads come back together, they kind of form a bond on the knot. And then you're going to set that aside. And you really don't want to mess with that too much because you want it to dry, completely dry. And then once it's completely dry, we'll go back in and we will cut the 2 tails off. So here are some bracelets I made earlier. And as you can see, I really threw in whatever I could find, kind of bottom of the barrel buttons that I found in my sewing box. I've knotted them off, and I put a dab of glue on the knot, and now they're fully dry. I let them dry for about an hour. And then what I want to do is I just want to hold the 2 tails up tight, and then pretty close I want to go right down on the knot and trim it so that I've trimmed away the excess stretchy magic. And we'll do the same thing here and on this 3rd one. So you hold the 2 tails in your left hand and then just go in with your little scissors and cut close. And eventually that knot will work its way in and you'll never even see it. So if you put on your bracelets and for any reason they're a little snug or they're too tight, a secret to stretch out the stretch magic is to take a glass of some sort and to let your bracelets sit overnight around a glass. And what this will do is it'll stretch out your stretchy string just a bit and give it a bit of wear so that the following morning when you take these off, it'll have a little more give and your bracelets might not be quite as snug. So making more and more of these bracelets, it's a little addicting, and you'll find that the more you wear and layer and put all different colors, the more fun it can be. So here is just a small selection of some of the buttons that we have at French General. I love the old mother of pearl buttons, the ones that kind of have a warm champagne cast to them. I also love any of the buttons with the old shanks on the back, and as you can see, a lot of these have the old wire that's been riveted to the front and then sticks out the back of the button. I also love the old glass buttons. These are French, and they look great on bracelets. You just thread it through the two holes rather than the shank at the back. And then, of course, we've got the crystal buttons, and these are a little bit bigger, but these are awfully fun to add a little bit of sparkle to your bracelets. We've got these wooden buttons, and I love wooden buttons because they can be painted really easily. So it would be fun. You could paint each one of these a different color and do a whole rainbow button bracelet. And then, of course, you've got the grays, the wonderful old shades of gray, the mother of pearl. And those always add a really nice kind of aurora borealis rainbow glow. And it's fun to bring in your grandmother's old heirloom buttons. Maybe you've got a collection of old sewing buttons or bits that your grandmother used in her sewing kit, and maybe put a couple of those in just to make your bracelet special and unique.
Le vent qui frappe à ma porte me parle des amours mortes devant le feu qui s'éteint. Ce soir, c'est une chanson d'automne dans la maison qui frissonne, et je pense aux jours lointains. Que reste-t-il de nos amours? Que reste-t-il de ces beaux jours? Une photo, vieille photo de ma jeunesse. Que reste-t-il des billets doux, des mois d'avril, des rendez-vous? Un souvenir qui me poursuit sans cesse.